Part three of how to start your private equity fund. Even if you're starting with very little money, or in some cases, no money, I'm literally helping people do that right now. It's something that people in the comments are always like, no, you can't do it. It can't happen. But it can. So let's go into it. I've got 4 points today that I want to dig into, and these still are things that you want to make sure that you're keeping in mind and you're starting with. I know I mentioned the first one in an earlier video, but I can't reiterate it enough. And then the other three are points that should kind of be the next stage of what you're thinking about. So the first thing is you want to get really aggressive with finding deals, but you don't want to get aggressive with pursuing prospects. You just want to be thoughtful before you're talking to your investors and starting to build those relationships. Now, the thing that I want to focus on that is a new part of this is once you're talking to your investors, you want to make sure that you have your incentive plan built out. Now, what do I mean when I say incentive plan? Most of the time, incentive plans for employees and those kinds of folks. But the incentive plan is you want to provide some perks. You want to provide some benefits to the people that jump on the wagon early and let them know that if they do come in later, they're going to miss out on those benefits. I'm going to have a video that's dedicated to all the things that you can offer those early investors, but you control the agreement. Now, the thing I want to say right now is you've got to be a little careful about how much you incentivize those people. Why? Because if people come in later, all of this stuff is disclosed. It's not like if you're doing some other type of business and you're selling a product and you tell people, hey, I'm going to give you 75% off because you're our first customer. The other customers don't even need to necessarily know about that, or it doesn't have to be publicized. But if you had to tell every customer that came in, hey, just so you know, here's a disclaimer. The people that came in before you saw that lady that was walking out, I gave her 75% off. And they're like, okay, like, am I going to get 75% off? And you're like, no, you're going to have to pay the whole thing. That person isn't going to have a lot of affinity towards your business. So the difference with this, and when you provide these incentives, and this is the real thing that I want you thinking about as you come up with these incentives, is you've got to disclose to everybody that comes in after that the incentives that you've given, and anybody that pays attention to the information that you give them, the PPM. That person's gonna know, oh wow, like I'm missing out. I didn't get that because I didn't get in early, and I didn't even have the opportunity because he presented it to me later. So in some of those cases, you if it's too good a deal, then it can ruin those. So you take the example that I just gave, and it's the person coming in, and you tell them, hey, just so you know, I have to tell you, disclaimer, the lady that was coming in before you, you saw as walking out as you came in, I gave her 10% off. I have to charge you the 100%, but I just want you to know that she did get 10% off. That doesn't feel as bad. So you want to incentivize folks, but you got to keep in mind that everybody is going to see what the other people's deals are. The other thing is you got to figure out what your brand is. And there are two distinct brands that are really important. And those two brands are interacting with three different entities. So the two brands are your personal brand as a fund manager. Who are you? What's your brand? The second brand is the actual fund brand. It's your company's brand. And then who are the three entities that those brands interact with? Well, the first one is obviously the investors. They're your clients. They're the most important people. You want to take care of those folks. The second is the deals that you're going to do. And so those are the businesses that you're going to buy, and how you present yourself to them. And it's really important because, hey, you need them. If you don't get deals done and they don't resonate with the brand that you're presenting, and preferably, what we're always trying to position clients to be is the people. We're just talking about a deal that was a no money down deal, and how that seller to the client said, I want to sell the business to you. I can't imagine selling it to anybody else. Like, I want you to buy this business. And that's what we want people to say to you and your fund. Like, I love your brand. I resonate with your ethos and what you represent so much that even if I got to take a bit less, I would rather do business and be in business with you. So the business that you're buying, it's important that that brand resonates with them. And then the third is the financial institutions that you do business with. So these are going to be your lenders. You're going to have third party lenders. Sometimes it may be a bank that's lending to you. We are entering historically low interest rates. In fact, the treasury yield for the first time literally today hit negative, a negative 1.13. So like, interest rates are amazing right now. That doesn't mean that you don't want to go in and still have a relationship and have a brand with that bank, so that they're bending over backwards because they feel like, hey, we'd rather get money to you than anybody else. So there are the third party financial institutions, but beyond banks, it could be asset based lenders, it could be AR finance, it could be all these other things. And you want relationships, and your brand needs to have them have faith in who you are. Now, I've got a personal brand and I've got a fund brand, and then each fund is going to have a bit of a different a brand, really based on what it's investing in. So, you guys see me right now. I'm in dressed down. I'm in my home office. That is a part of my brand. My investors expect that from me, and it's not a surprise. But it's important that, when you get to your personal brand, that people that you're investing with, or that are investing in you, aren't surprised if you show up online, and you're making a video and you're in a t-shirt, you're dressed down, or you're in the home office. If you go into an investor and you're dressed in a suit, you represent yourself like you're coming from a big office, and you've got a big team, and that kind of thing, and then they find out, oh, you're working remotely from Puerto Rico, and you really don't have a staff, and you don't have an office, or the staff isn't in the office, they're remotely based. There's a little bit that creates distrust, not because you're doing anything wrong. It's just because there's an incongruency in what you're presenting to them, and who and what they're really getting as a product. And it doesn't matter if the product is really still good, but the packaging of that product is gonna matter. I mean, if one day you pass a McDonald's, and it could be the most a really great McDonald's, great service, good people, the burgers taste exactly like McDonald's, but you pass by, and instead of the golden arches, they're purple arches. You're gonna be like, yeah, I am not going to that McDonald's. Because all of a sudden, that's just a totally different thing than what the brand is supposed to be. So that your dress, your how you present yourself, your brand, that is your golden arches, and you want to make sure that everything matches up. Now, this last point, and it's something that we spend a lot of time on as we're going through this process, is your marketing plan. And again, all this has to line up. You've got to have your branding. You've got to have a marketing plan that lines up with your branding. And there are two parts to this marketing plan that you've got to allocate resources to. The first part is obviously being able to build relationships and raise capital from investors. And the other part of that marketing plan is going out and building relationships to make sure that you're getting deal flow. Now, these are also complicated because in both cases, a lot of the times you don't really want to go direct. It's better if you never have to go direct to an investor. You want to find the sources of investors that will be able to refer a lot of investors to you. When it comes to businesses, you don't want to just go from business to business. You want to figure out where is a source of business that I can go to a lot of those sources, and from each one of those sources, get a lot of deal flow. And then the secondary benefit to that is you end up in a situation where you enter as a trusted advisor, or trusted partner, or trusted fiduciary or buyer investor. So when you're dealing with an investor, if you have a CPA that's telling that person, hey, like you're a accredited investor, I've got this unique opportunity that could be neat for you. If you're a person that owns a business and you've got your president of the Chamber of Commerce, like, oh, like there's a private equity fund in town that's looking for deals like yours, or your bankers telling you, oh, there's a private equity fund in town and they're looking for deals like yours. That is what you want. So this is part 3 of starting your own private equity fund. It's very nuanced. It's very important. People don't take the time. A lot of times it's just like, okay, I'm ready to start. Let's go do deals. And it's like, no, we've got to get these things in place before we talk to the very first person. So if you're somebody that sees the opportunity in the market right now, you're ready to take the leap and start the process to building your private equity fund, please reach out. You can go to acechapman.com. You can also shoot me an email, ace@acechapman.com. Thanks so much for checking out the video.